We are live. It's not the Untitled Manny and Marcus show. It's the Untitled Manny and Eric show.
It's still the
Where
Untitled
we
Manny and Marcus show. It
where
is.
we might break and talk about food in a bit, but hey, it's what we do.
Oh no, Manny. I disagree. I understood when I was bestowed this great responsibility. I said I was going to be professional. I brought a pen. I have points to make. I watched the show's thorough. I'll put it this way: NXT gave me nothing but one thing, and I can't wait till we get to NXT to talk about that because I feel like, oh yeah, I'm Eric the hater, but I don't hate that much. I feel like Manny, when I was watching NXT, let me just point out, I felt like Marcus is in line with why can I my mind just went blank. What is
Who
Souls
is it?
Workers? What's Souls Workers tag team partner?
Zaria.
Yeah,
Zaria.
Marcus and Zarya every time we do a show together. Just mad. Let me win, damn it. Let me win.
Thing is, do you know what? If I do a show by myself, like if I do the Lego builds and everything, he doesn't
Yeah.
seem to care. Like
Nope,
he'll
nope,
come
nope,
in,
nope,
come
nope,
in
nope.
occasionally, be supportive, and then he hop out. When it's us two doing a show, I do a dead sense where, especially when we go on a tangent, because obviously there's tangents abundant on the
Yeah.
show, whether it's been all three of
It's
us.
what makes this show this show. Even when we did this audio, it'll be like 10% wrestling, 90% of, you know what, this is what's going on in our house. Like it's just
Yeah, no, the thing is, so last week we somehow went off on a tangent talking about Trump shitting himself, and
I know I
then,
saw some of that.
and then it transitioned to what if you did it at work, and I was like, oh, I've got emergency trousers, but like the tangent on the watch along with me and Eric will veer off into, hey man, you eat anything good recently, or
Yeah,
whatever
yeah.
Eric took a picture of, and then I have umbrage with it because it probably cost $200.
Exactly. And he'll be like, man, you guys not even talking about wrestling in the chat, but you can talk about shitting yourself is perfectly fine. Yes, it's a double standard, but that's always been the life of growing up in my household. You know, each sibling has their own personality, and you learn to deal with that. You're only child, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you don't have to deal with this personality dealing with. So it's hard.
But
You
you
know,
know what? I get it through both of you. I get it through both of you.
true. I mean, man, you're kind of like an honorary brother, and then I realized that you're going into our age range this year. Damn, I don't know if I feel old or young anymore because you were always the youth. God damn, you're not no
No,
more.
remember when Ross was with us and then Jamal? It was Jamal. Then no, Ross was older than all of us, wasn't he? He was your age.
Yeah, he might be. Oh yeah, shout out to Ross. You know his Seahawks won. Go figure. Seahawks win another championship. Did you hear that allegedly Drake made? I think they're making excuses that he took a shot in the shoulder for pain or something like that. But it kind of makes sense with his throws. We're here to talk about wrestling. I was already ready to derail. We could derail at the end of the show. Manny, I'm ready to assist you in any way I can.
There was news. I actually forgot to actually look it up because I literally got in and then do you know what? I started talking about shit with Eric before, not even wrestling related. This Brody King thing. He apparently the Warner Brothers Discovery had blocked him from AEW Dynamite for the Abolish ICE t-shirt and the Fuck ICE chants that happened in the main event last week. Warner Brothers have come out and said denied doing so. WBD wrote, Warner Brothers Discovery did not have any involvement in Brody King's upcoming AEW schedule. Any speculation to the contrary is categorically false. Brody is scheduled to appear during the next AEW event, which will air this Saturday on TNT and HBO Max.
It was weird for me personally that when you watch Dynamite this week that Brody was not there. And so I don't think MJF wasn't there either, unless I might have spaced out. But like,
yeah, most of them are in Australia at this point now.
But like, they weren't even any packages. This is like a big moment. But you would think Brody would have been there, considering that he is from Southern California. Just imagine the reaction that he could get. And I think that that's one of the problems that is going on in this country right now. And I'm not going to get on my political soapbox, but the whole lack of freedom of speech. I mean, like, we can throw women through tables and stuff like that, but because a man is anti-ice, that's a problem because he wears a t-shirt that says that. I disagree with that wholeheartedly. And I don't think that either side is going to accept accountability, like where there's going to be AEW or Warner Brothers, I think is a bad lick on both ends. But I think that's just the world we live in right now,
Do
where
you think, like, obviously it's almost kind of career suicide in a way, being able to use your free speech and speak out. But do you think this is going to hold him back in a way? Because like the only really other option if he loses his job with AEW is WWE, and that is MAGA all the way over there, the top brass. Do you think he's going to face any like career repercussions because of it? Because obviously the way say AEW dealt with the guy from the Rascals. They just said he can't Trey Miguel, he can't be here. But that wasn't AEW saying that was WB, that was above AEW,
yeah.
so WBD. Do you think we're gonna get to a situation where they might just be like, if Brody's like this and we get another out? Because the fact that this happened, it's just gonna amp up the fuck ice chance.
Yeah.
Anytime he's out there, it's gonna happen.
The thing about Brody is that he doesn't fit on the AEW roster as it is. Like, and the sad part about this is that I don't think that he was going to beat MJF for the title. I don't think he was going to do that at all. But now, with his loss, people are going to question, is it because of this? And then afterwards, his placement on the card, what happens? Because like before this, he wasn't, he showed up on Ring of Honor. He might have showed up on Collision here and there, but we didn't see him much, especially after Aleister Black left. As for him going to WWE, it's always a chance, but I don't think he will have that free reign that he has in AEW. And I think that if he was let go, he would probably end up in TNA, because I know there's a third option. TNA has a free reign. They picked back up Trey Miguel. They didn't care about his past. And it's a really weird stance that WB took with the Trey Miguel and the Rascal situations, because you have Trey Miguel who made those things, he apologized, but then you had Nash, Carter, or Zachary Wentz who dressed up like Hitler, which, like to me, they're equally as bad. But
look, you would think though, I would think being in the past and dressing up like Hitler would offend way more in that Hollywood landscape of WBD and all that, where most of the people that make all the stuff have Jewish roots.
Yes. But you just phone call.
No, it's Instagram. People be messaging.
Oh, okay. Slide into the DMs. It's a fresh thing in there. No, I think the thing about it is like, it's really worth it, because I think that we have such a double standard in life. And let me get it right. A double standard in life where we always practice forgiveness and people can atone for what they mistakes, but then we always hold people accountable for what they did when they were younger. Do I think Trey Miguel is the same person that he was when he made those tweets? No, I do not. And I think that's the thing about it, because I can ask you this question, Manny. Are you the same Manny that you were 20 years ago? You're not. No. I'm not the same Manny that I was 20 years ago.
There's hints of him still. There's hints of him still, like deep down in like my personality, but like obviously life has happened, and obviously like your personality changes and adapts to how you live. Like you can't. If you don't change and evolve, what are you? And you stay the same person you were 20 years ago. What are you? What kind of person are you? What kind of mess of your life is?
I'll give a personal example about this, and if we go back to I think it was the Royal Rumble watch along, where I think you and Marcus said that I was disparaging women and things of that nature, and just like being sexist, whatever. I still don't feel that I was doing that, but at the same time, it did make me think about and say, hey, you know what? Maybe I need to think about before when I talk about somebody's attire.
No, it's the way you said it. I think it was the tone you said it. It was the tone you said it, because I think if you said it in a different way, it would have come across like, oh.
I was just really shocked of how in shape Kiana James was, because like it was one of those things that her outfit was so like it was like it's a lot of work to be that way, and it was meant to be as a compliment. And in hindsight, I can hear where people could say that, but the thing is, let's say you guys held that against me, then next, the powers that be says you can no longer be on the podcast. And I think that before, AEW was supposed to be better than the E because they had a sense of freedom. But if they're going to be a slave to their Warner Brothers deal, then it's going to be a problem. If you can't put, I don't think Brody didn't do anything. He wore a t-shirt, and the fans chant more awful things in all of wrestling than fuck Ice.
But is it more a case? So let me just read the statement here, because it's so Dave Meltzer said the deal is that they didn't want the fans in the arena to be chanting that. If Brody came out, that there was that risk. When he comes back, it will happen again. I don't know how they're going to handle it. This is, again, not a Tony call. This is from above. You know what it is. Nobody wants to get on Trump's bad side. If it wasn't for that, nobody would care. It's just a chant. But unfortunately, they've, WBD, got a company they're trying to sell and get regulatory approval from a guy who is going to take stuff personal. That's just how it is. No Brody King on the show when he is absolutely, of course, Brody King and MJF should have had a segment on the show.
You know, the craziest thing about this is going to have the opposite effect. Like, it's going to have to keep him off TV, because I think that wrestling fans, they have a tendency, or we have a tendency, to do the opposite of what they want us to do. So if they're telling you that, oh, we don't want you to chant fuck Ice, oh, they're going to chant it. And now they're going to chant it throughout the entire show, even when it's going to become the what chant, even with him not being on the show.
I think it's going to be a case of, if you have to pull Brody because of this, the fans will try and take over the show.
Yeah. Which is always kind of risky in this situation.
But yeah, this was the main headline that I want to talk about. Nothing really else that worth talking about.
I didn't even know about this, but like, the censorship in wrestling is going to be because how can you control the fans unless we go back to the COVID area where we're inside of the virtual stadium?
Yeah.
So, this is going to be something that you have to keep up watching. Like, I don't think that Brody was going to win this weekend, so I don't think that's going to be an issue. But after his match with MJF, the question is, will he be on TV again? And I'm afraid he might not be on TV again, and that sucks for him, because I think that he is something that is completely different in AEW, where I think that he's a breath of fresh air anywhere, because he's different.
Yeah, he's kind of like what Kevin Owens is to the upper mid card.
Yeah,
he's a big guy and he can wrestle. So, and he's the only big guy left in that company that they're even considering going to push.
Yeah, and I thought that they really did a disservice when they had Alistair and him together, because I thought they were a very good tag team. I think they were a better tag team than the trios, but like, the trio thing is very complicated. Well, the whole belt structure in AEW is very complicated. I think Ricochet came out and said that, oh yeah, there's no problem with having too many titles, but I think there's a problem when there's too many titles.
I think it's a problem because you're using it to make a character stand out, instead of actually building that character to be something.
Hello, 6580. We have already pointed out that they denied the claims, but we are also just pointing out the fact that it's a sticky situation, because the fans will react, Marcus, whether he's pulled or not pulled. But we both agree that we didn't think he was winning this weekend on Saturday.
Marcus, you need to change that photo, because when you put that up, it looks like the late Grand Finale.
Yeah, it looked like I took that photo. It looked like he was an old comedian doing an old tour that had an OD of donuts and heroin, just in the room, just powdered donuts and heroin. That's what it was.
On a more lighter note, Eric, Royce Keys was at WWE HQ today for the last couple of days. Okay. Apparently, because people thought he was going to get fired. Because apparently he's actually 41 years old and not 35.
He's a Dominican Republic baseball player. First of all, I say this. For me, your actual age doesn't matter when it comes to professional wrestling. I think you and Marcus do make a big deal. I say it's your age of how long you've been on television. And in relative age terms, Royce Keys is fairly new to WWE, and he wasn't on TV that much in AEW. So I think he has a lot more miles in his tank. But the problem is, how are they going to use him? Like it's like you did all that at the Royal Rumble where you gave the man fireworks and pyro and stuff like that, and I get it. Because you know what? You had the Saudi budget, and they was like, who you want to give pyro to? Let's give it to Royce Keys. But the fact that the man hasn't made it to any show yet is a problem.
No, but Eric, this is the thing. You remember how everyone was really surprised? I remember Ross being incredibly surprised when we all found out how old the actual Damian Priest was.
Yeah.
So this is the same situation, because then he's going to start moving like Priest. We're going to start watching this man age a lot faster than we should be.
Man, but we have to understand something. We just don't like Priest. We just don't.
No, but there was a period where we did.
Was there?
Yeah, but it's only recently where we're just like, eh.
No, Manny. So I tell you, the period was when he was with Judgment Day, because they all worked together. It was Priest, Rhea, it was Dom, and it was somebody else. And then of course that made Dom become the bigger star than what he is now. Like it's one of those things where he became the casualty of the situation. And you know, it is what it is.
Marcus said, coming from the guy who says he's old, and he's been saying it since 2016.
Yeah, but the counteract that comment, I'm not a professional athlete. I've never claimed to be in shape or be athletic at all. I run my mouth.
The time when you were in shape.
Man, every time on my digital.
You remember that time of Slim Eric?
Manny,
the era of Slim Eric.
Manny, let me tell you something. I see that fucking picture every time, and I'm like, damn, what happened? And then you know what I do? I go eat a fucking cookie. It's like, depression is a bitch. It's like, it don't help.
Is that your go-to cookies?
Huh?
Is your go-to cookies?
Nah, man. I love some sweets. No, actually, it's living life, because it's like it's a balance, and we don't need we this could be a separate this could be a shoot about life. But as you all know, in life we have a certain amount of time to be here, and the thing about it, we don't know what that time is, and so sometimes you tend to try to enjoy life. And if friends invite you to a Korean restaurant that you've never been to, and you go and you eat at the Korean restaurant and you have a great time, but then you feel like shit afterwards, you're like, damn, that was a mistake. But at the same time, I had that experience. Yeah. I make food mistakes, man. I make very bad food mistakes.
See, obviously I'm well documented of chips or crisps or wherever you are in the world. But if I really wanted Eric, Krispy Kremes. Let me tell you. I can eat 6. I can eat 6 in one sitting. I can eat 6. Heat them up. I can have 6.
Like the glazed ones?
Yeah.
Oh, because I only like the Krispy Kreme cake donuts, and that's for you, Marcus. We talked about food for you, Manny. Because we could have a bunch of tangents afterwards. Should we start with one of these shows? Which way you want to go with first?
I think we start with Dynamite, even though this was the original thumbnail, but we'll get to that.
Dynamite was the better show. It deserves some more conversation. It does.
So AEW Dynamite kicks off with an impressive segment between Kenny and Swell. I'm just going to say this is the best Kenny Omega promo ever. He did try and ruin it at one point when he said heebie-jeebies or something along those lines.
Yeah.
He did try and ruin it, but this whole promo was a good way to set up a match between these two.
It was a good way, but in some ways, I didn't like it either, because I didn't like the sourness that Swerve had. Like, it's like, dude, you're kind of entitled. You accomplished a lot, and you're just mad because you didn't get a chance to fight Kenny Omega. And I guess in some ways, it cut deep, so it made it more personal. And I was just like, I don't know how I felt about it. And I think what I didn't like the most was the brawl in the crowd.
I didn't need the brawl in the crowd.
I think that you could have left it at the words. Like after Swerve said, yeah, you weren't there because you were in a hospital, he could have just dropped his mic and walked away or something like that and let, Kenny stew in that. The brawl seemed like it was unnecessarily forced.
It felt forced,
But I think the crowd enjoyed it. I think it's going to be a very good match next week between Omega and Swerve. But the problem is that, let me ask you this question, Manny. Swerve versus Omega, don't it deserve a little bit more build than 7 days? Like,
let me tell you, the way they open this segment, they've just announced that they're going back to Wembley, or they're going back to Wembley on August 31st or something along those lines. That type of match should be on a big card for loads of people to see, because that is the biggest show that AEW run, the highest attended show that AEW will run of the year. Give them something incredible.
Like,
I'm probably not gonna go, but like, this is why every time I say on this show with Marcus, the first All Out or All In or whatever it was called at the time, I wanted to watch Kenny Omega in a singles match. My entire since he had that match with Okada at Wrestle Kingdom, I got to see him in a trios match. I don't want to watch Kenny in a trios match, and that's probably what's going to happen again.
Yeah. It's like you want to see
matches. When they matches like that should be held on a pedestal. That type of match. This is the big name of your past, and then the present of Swerve Strickland. You should be putting on your biggest thing.
The views that I'm about to express are views only of my own, as known as the hater and stuff like that. Fuck Sacramento. They don't need this match. Why are they getting this match? This is ridiculous. Sacramento is in the middle. It's like, why? It's just the capital of California. This match should not take place there. You know, when I heard that they were going to have this match, the first thing I thought to myself, I was like, damn, maybe I should try to see if Marcus will take a day off and I can take a day off and we could try to fly up to Sacramento, see it, and then fly back the same day.
But isn't Revolution's coming up? Isn't that in your backyard? Almost in your backyard?
Yeah, it's in Inglewood or something like that. But
yeah, even then, that match should happen there. As a pay-per-view, people should be paying more to see that.
And the thing about it, it might happen. So this match might not even get a finish. I just don't think that. I don't know. I know it's a good hook to watch Dynamite next week, but I was like, wow, like make me wait a little bit, in my opinion, because like I think that every singles Kenny Omega match that he has is a gift. Because you don't know how many more singles matches he has in the tank. And like you said, most times we'll get a trios match, we'll get a tag match. But him actually being the cleaner by himself is something that we don't get. And for all we know, this could be a quiet retirement tour, since all the people that we know are quietly retiring, except for AJ, who may or may not be negotiating a contract in secret with WWE. Who knows?
but yeah, I think this deserves a bigger stage than just Dynamite, but others may have a different opinions on that. We get the first match of the night, which is Josh Alexander, Takeshita, and Mark Davis versus Mox, Claudio, and Pac. I didn't care about this at all.
Ready? So I was watching this match, and the only thing he did was took me back to Sunday's show, where I talked about the Death Riders and when they put the segment out there, what the teams are and who's going to win. And I was like, and I looked at it. I saw Claudio, I saw Jon Moxley, and I saw Pac. And I said, they ain't losing. But then I saw the other team, Don Callis family. I was like, wow, they got a pretty good team out there. They got Takeshita, they got Josh Alexander, and then they got Mark Davis. Now,
no, that's a scrub team. That's a scrub team. That's putting your main event with idiots.
What I don't understand about this match is why was Takeshita there? I think he has a match with Moxley, right?
I think so.
I just didn't like Takeshita being there because he was kind of lessened by being by those jabronis. And then, like, where's Jake something? Like, Jake something and Mark Davis were a tag team 2 weeks ago. He probably should have been teaming with his guy. Once again, though, I thought Mark looked good and brutal, how he was chopping people. There was things in the match that I like. Him and Claudio suplexing, it's fine. But my question for you, didn't WWE dodge a bullet by not signing Josh Alexander? I don't think he's doing anything.
I don't know if they would have done anything with him either. I mean, The only thing I could think to do is pair him back up with Ethan Page, but
That's the
like
only
I
time I
feel like,
liked him. That's the only
but
time I
like,
liked him.
let me tell you, I feel like Ethan Page is doing so much better without him.
No, yes, but like they paid all this money for this guy, and I don't think I've seen a return on him yet. But
No,
you know
not even
what?
close.
You know what? I mean, he doesn't even look impressive. He looks kind of like a joke when he comes out. But to each is their own. But like you said, this was a standard 6-man tag match. We might call it a Kenny Omega Classic because this is the type of matches that we always see Kenny Omega in. I don't think anything happened of any substance. But you know what? Like I said, Death Riders were not losing that match because of that trio, who the announcers pointed out was the first time that all three men have teamed up with each other, which I was like, damn, they don't even use the Death lineup often.
The next match was Carl Fletcher versus Tommaso Ciampa for the TNT title. This was a real throwback to NXT Black and Gold. With all
Awful.
the like false finishes.
Awful.
Awful.
This
Why?
it ruined the whole Manny. There was no match that could surpass what happened between these two right here. That was a hell of a Manny, let me just tell you something right now. One of the better matches I've seen on TV, and as I knew what Ciampa can do. And I'm not the biggest Fletcher guy, but like it was also somewhat tamed down for the thing. But my issue was having such a great match, but then afterwards the letdown was the biggest letdown ever. Like if you're gonna have a match in his home country for him to win the title, how about we run it back with Ciampa? I don't want to see him and Briscoe. I don't care if it's game 7. I don't need to see that match again, especially after seeing Ciampa versus Fletcher.
The problem I had with this match was more the fact that he's going back. We're going back to Australia. We're just gonna put the title on him. We're just gonna put the title. That's what it feels like. This title. You could have had him win the title in Australia.
Yeah.
You didn't need to, which I feel like would have been a bigger deal. But you didn't need Ciampa to have like a 14-day reign, or less than that maybe. Lose it so quickly, just so they can have a ladder match in Australia with Mark Briscoe.
So let me ask you this question: do you think that professional wrestling companies now rely too much on gimmick matches? Because I feel, as a wrestling fan, if this match would have took place on Saturday in Australia, I would have been extremely satisfied, especially being that my home country native won the title. Like I think, like it makes more sense to me than watching him and Mark in a ladder match. I just don't care.
I don't know how packed or how much of a fiasco it's gonna be. Shout out to you, Cat. How much how much of a fiasco it's gonna be in Australia, because I believe they only. If you watch Stevie Richards and the idiot James Romero, that's the English man with him, he mentioned that AEW really only started promoting this thing like 2 weeks ago. And I don't know how well the tickets have sold. I don't know if it's going to be a packed house or not. So maybe having the better match on Dynamite, where people are going to appreciate it more, a reasonable time zone for most people, I think is probably the better idea. The gimmick match, I think it's leaning into all these companies looking for moments these days.
But I think the thing about it, then, if that was the case, maybe they'd have some short side booking by giving Ciampa the titles. Like, we signed Ciampa, we gave him the title. I think your point of that maybe he should have been the champion going in, and then somehow, some way, we ended up with the ladder match with him and Briscoe, or maybe something else. I don't know. I just thought this was a hell of a match. It was hard to follow this match, and I don't think anything else got my interest as much as that match. My only criticism of the match was that the way that the match ended, I thought it was better finishers that they kicked out of. But you know what? But to each is their own. That's the AEW style. But bravo to both gentlemen. And I thought that, because I've seen a lot of Kyle Fletcher matches, I thought that he was fairly reserved in compared to what he's probably going to do on Saturday in that ladder match.
Yeah. I think he's got to save himself for Saturday. I think this was a very good, almost. I'm pretty sure Dave Meltzer's going to give this a 5-star, possibly a little bit on the side. But
Gargano's still laying on his stomach, floating like a dead fish.
Yeah, my only knock on it was Ciampa just came in the company. That was it.
Yeah.
It was like, But like, I guess you don't have to make someone of the likes of Tommaso Ciampa, because we know what he can do. Look strong in every situation. I'm sure he'll
I
move
mean, for
on
how
to the
old
next
he
match.
is, for his age, how well he looks like he's in shape. He has an intense wrestling style. I mean, there's matchups galore that he can excel at, like him versus Ricochet, because they have contrasting styles. Should be a very good match once they do it. But the problem is that like you have all these very good matchups. You just have to place them better, in my opinion. Just place them better. That's all you have to do.
So the next match was Eric's boy, Clark Connors and
Clark
Danny
Connors!
Garcia versus Roderick Strong and Orange Cassidy. Once again, I do not care. I did not care one single bit about this match. Even if I was taken to my highest of highs with Carl Fletcher and Tommaso Ciampa, even if that match didn't happen, Eric, and this opened the show, if I had the opportunity, I would have turned it off.
You know, but all I had to say, this match only gave me Clark Connors, and I just laughed because you guys are like, how did he remember his names? And hopefully Clark Connors will be reunited with his brother NXT, Uriah Connors, although I know that's not his brother, but still, it's just like the Connors are taking over.
So Roderick Strong jumped off the apron. And I know we'll probably have to revisit this on Sunday because Marcus loves, we all love a jumping off the apron. But normally I enjoy this spot, Eric. I enjoy the spot. I really enjoy when someone jumps off the apron. But when it's Roderick Strong, they don't have the same impact.
Manny, let me just be honest right here in this situation. Nobody gives a fuck about Roderick Strong.
No one.
Like back many years ago when we attended that Ring of Honor show, and we were talking mad shit about Roderick Strong and how no one gave a fuck, and that was the only T-shirt Marcus could buy. And then just so happy he sees Roddy walking in the casino, he gives him a high five. And I told Marcus, "You still don't give a fuck now, but whatever, it happens." It's just, it's like he jumped off the apron. I put it this way: Roderick has no momentum. Everybody I think is hurt. I could care less about Orange Cassidy, and then I think that it was just so convoluted afterwards that like you had John Moxley on commentating who didn't really provide anything. You had Daniel Garcia. You could see him waiting like for the moment. Then you had the Tony Storm and the box. And then you had Where You to come out. And then they had Mina and they cut her hair. And I'm like, why are we doing all this? Like this, like these guys are so far below of importance in AEW that I didn't need this, and this was just a cool down match. A cool down match is what it was, and trying to tell a story.
And then we had Jet Speed walking the halls, Mark. We had Jet Speed walking the halls. They want more gold, but there's never been anyone with severe lack of charisma than that Karate Man. That Karate Man with no
Speedball, Mike Bailey. It's just awful.
I'm just like, this man is terrible at everything he does.
Betty, I still don't understand why Shantae likes him. This is the one time I questioned my wife. I'm like, Speedball? Really?
Eric, did you see the bit? There's a certain bit where Speedball touches Kevin Knight. And Kevin Knight has a look on his face like, why are you touching me?
Yeah. Well, Betty, so just so happened, Shantae was around me when this segment happened. She said, do you think he's walking backstage barefoot? And I was like, why do you care? It's but you know what? Everybody has their own interesting thing.
Well, who knew? So me and Marcus champion Barefoot Charlotte. Who knew Shantae, the Sharpie wife, champions
Barefoot Mike Speedball? I don't know. It's Oba, Moose, and then Mike Speedball, Mike Bailey. And I'm like, he just don't make no sense. And he's what Moose and Obafemi seem to eat for breakfast. No? Yeah, but I still think he's married to Veda Scott. I believe. I know that name hasn't been said in a long time, but yeah, I think they're still married.
Wes is in chat. I haven't seen him in the chat.
I know, but like he you know what? His wife has more charisma than he does.
I'm scared of his wife.
Yeah. The way she was choking out Mina.
AEW is a mid-card company with a few tops. I think they've got a lot more top stars than you give them credit for, Wes.
And Wes, like, I'm the biggest WWE loyalist as it is. The same statement can be made for WWE. It's a mid-card company with a few top stars. Like, and they're losing top stars left and right.
The Young Bucks took on the Rascals and a mystery team, which turned out to be the Private Party, who we haven't seen in God knows how long.
Manny,
Go on, Eric.
I will dub this the Black History Month Classic.
Like, oh wait,
everybody was black, Manny. Everybody was black, but
Young Bucks aren't.
Huh?
They may dress like they're black, but they aren't.
Manny, the Young Bucks aren't, but they gave us Trump America. Like all the odds pointed at a black team was supposed to win this. It's for them. But guess what happened? The white man conquered all. And then afterwards what took place? Another conversation between two white teams, like FTR and the Young Bucks. And quite frankly, man, I'm sick of this. I'm sick of it. Like, we always give WWE shit for retreading on old stuff. And they're like, FTR and the Young Bucks, I don't need it. I've seen it so many times. It's like, you got to have fresher tag teams. Like, Jet Speed would have been more entertaining in this situation. Was it nice to see the Private Party? Possibly. The greatest thing about the Private Party is that the light-skinned one, is it Cassidy? I think
Isaiah Cassidy,
that's what young JLG looked like. Just let you know if you ever want to know what he looked like.
I didn't really need to know what he looked like.
But yeah, it plays out that. But like, it was like, okay, the Private Party shows up. You know what? Maybe some vignettes, maybe some hype, make them seem important. I guess they're not going to WWE. Who knows? You know what? Hometown Boys win. It was fine. I thought it was a better match than what we got before. But still, it was like, okay. It still wasn't Ciampa Fletcher.
And then they brawl with FTR afterwards.
Yeah,
or they fight with FTR in the segment.
And I thought they were going to get the quota because they kicked 4 black men in that match because they clicked Wes Lee, who is now Desmond. They kicked his partner. Then they kicked both members of the Private Party. And I was like, they were going to go for the trifecta because I thought they was going to kick Stokely, but they decided not to.
You can't kick a man in a wheelchair.
You can. I would. I'd give him the big boot.
We get the strap match with Thekla against Chris Statlander, the AEW Women's Champion. There wasn't going to be anything that followed Kyle versus Tommaso, but this was kind of close.
It picked up steam, but you don't want to talk about your boy Ospreay recovery thing, his little vignette.
No, I didn't like the way he opened it, where he said, "I'm alive," and I was like, "Well, I've seen you do other things."
Okay, then I'll let that
go. But then him questioning if he's going to be the same guy and everything. Yeah, I like that they're doing this because, like, I think in the way wrestling is right now, and the way people are so nonchalant with their bodies, I think the way he spoke, I think a lot of people, like, I know that was probably a scripted promo and whatnot. I do think you need to think about certain things you do in the ring and whether the risk is worth it. Because
man, I have a question.
I took a lot of different. Yeah,
I have a question for you. I'm sure that his goal is to return at Wembley. I'm sure that's his goal. If his return is set at Wembley, and let's just say it's his match against Kenny Omega.
I'm going.
Ospreay. Is that your button to see?
I'm going.
Yeah. I knew it would. I knew that would put you to seat.
I'm going. I'm not going. I'm not going ringside. Too expensive.
Because it's in August, I might even consider to go because it's once in a lifetime thing that you get in that situation. Yeah. As for Chris Statler is a better champion than Jade because she can actually wrestle. Jade is more of a look than a wrestler, Wes. But the thing about this match was, of course, I'm not a big fan of the blood because it's a strap match. I like where'd the blood come from, but whatever, it happens. But I thought both ladies did what they needed to do. I did not expect a title to change in this situation.
Yeah.
I'm curious where they're going to go with this one because I think Thekla is interesting. She's something fresh. She's something new. But do you see her as a viable champion?
Yeah, because to be especially a heel champion, you need cronies. and she's got those in
They're
Julia Hart, and
useless.
Sky
I've never
Blue.
seen Julia
They are
Hart.
useless,
But
but
what the hell?
your cronies are never supposed to be to outshine you. That's the
true.
problem when you have cronies and they start outshining you. That's when you got the problem.
That's true. That's true.
I think she's got what it takes to be a decent champion. It's just whether she's given the opportunity to be that decent champion that I know people that have probably followed her in Stardom and elsewhere know her to be.
Kane, just as we talk about scheduling, he says, so I seem to remember someone saying this would be a very late show, yet here you guys are. Well, that's this Thursday, as we are still working out the semantics and the, we're dotting our I's and crossing our T's and even dotting J's in this possibility. So, and we'll have more information on Sunday.
Yeah, we're very fortunate that Eric is actually off this week and he had nothing to do, so we ran the show this week, which sounds like it would have been a better time. We had to do a show this week because a lot actually happened. Whereas, like, we probably couldn't have just left this till.
No, Sunday. I thought AEW Dynamite. Honestly, man, I put this is gonna be crazy. If we ended our show right here and not talked about NXT, it would be perfectly fine. Because I think AEW Dynamite was the better show this week, and that's even with all the shit that they did that I did not like. NXT didn't do shit.
No, this was the better wrestling show. Like, yeah, I don't think they furthered much story on this show, but like. You can't say the wrestling on it wasn't solid because it was.
But I don't think AEW fans go there for story. I think that is WWE fans who want to enjoy AEW or to hate on AEW is then we criticize the lack of story.
I just want to know a lot of the time what the fuck's going on. That's why I just need to know what's going on because like sometimes with AEW you can skip a couple of weeks and you have no idea what's going on.
Yeah,
and what you've missed. Which basically what's happened since we last had to cover it, which I learned was in October.
Yeah, I know, but it's some shows where it's just not like much. See, like for me, full disclosure, because I don't have to talk about Monday Night Raw. I hardly watch Monday Night Raw. I might be the only person who's never seen the promo between CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Because you know why? I don't feel like even how good their promo was that match is going to deliver. It's just one of those things.
Let me tell you what you need to do. On a Tuesday, go on that WWE account, the YouTube account. They do almost like, at most, it's 15 minutes. It's a 15-minute summary of that 2 hours and a half of what went happen. And a lot of the time, I probably haven't watched the entire show. I can get away with those 15 minutes of like.
So you know what I did though, and I encourage everybody else to do. Tune into the Tuesday show of the Untitled Manny and Marcus show where they actually talk about Monday Night Raw. And they got me abreast of everything that was going on with professional wrestling that took place on Monday. And I felt very good about that.
And then you get your occasional tangent. You never know what it's going to be.
I mean, you find out Manny carries an extra pair of trousers, which is
I don't carry them. I store them in places where I work.
Man, I'm still sad about that. I lost my vehicle because the new car that I have doesn't have the storage in the trunk. And I used to
got the same car.
No, I got the little brother of my car.
Oh,
yeah. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that. Yeah. So AEW was a good show. I'm curious to see what they're going to do with Thekla. I don't think she has a match in Australia. I don't think she's there.
I don't think so.
My biggest gripe that I had with them was how they kept advertising the show in Australia, but I'm assuming the show is not going to be live because they never gave us the time that it will be airing in it because it's going to be at 5:00 on TNT, right? So it might just.
I think so, but I'm assuming that time is normally the morning for you, like right in the morning.
So I'm assuming it's going to be taped. I'm not sure. So
it'd be taped. I'm assuming it'll probably air live on HBO Max.
It's probably better than watching Collision. So that might be a good thing.
Let's move it. You done talking about Dynamite, or you ready?
I don't think there's anything left to say. They had a solid show. Like there was very good wrestling. That's what you expect. It's like watching Melo have his U.S. Open title. It's like it's going to be a good match, but it means nothing at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. They did recently lose their TV deal. Apparently, they've also just recently started doing promotion for this show, so it's kind of a shit show. So you don't actually know what you're getting really on this show.
It also seems like maybe they just didn't need to go to Australia.
They don't. I don't think they're big enough to be going to Australia. Don't say he's my guy, all right? Just because we're from the same neck of the woods. That guy is more negative than Eric.
Who's this guy? Who's this guy with the toys?
So he's got this name from Ryan. Basically, what me and Marcus, what the Boo Boo Baron has said is Stevie Richards and his co-host, the English guy, aka James Romero. Ryan has basically said that's the Untitled Manny and Marcus show because Marcus is Stevie and I'm the English guy.
Oh, okay,
and then referred to the guy because this guy has a backdrop and he's just got like loads of things as backdrop of like world titles or various wrestling memorabilia. So he's become the guy with the toys.
So Manny, question for you, because I remember I think it was on this Tuesday show that who do you dislike more? Stevie Richards' co-host or Stephanie McMahon's co-host?
I'll go with Stevie's co-host of James Romero because Stephanie's co-host doesn't really say much.
But she just laughs, right? I think
she laughs, but she laughs. But the real villain of that show that's got the more criminal laugh is Stephanie McMahon. It's a witch's cackle.
Yeah, but the thing about Stephanie is that I always felt that Stephanie was awkward. But she would also probably do some weird things too. You know, it's a plus situation.
Yeah. Let's jump into NXT. Eric, it kicked off with a horrible. I just don't like this man. It kicked off with a horrible promo from Joe Hendry going through his accolades to become NXT champion.
Manny, I'm gonna tell you this right now. NXT has had a long lineage of people of color being their champion. This might be the most Mayo phase of champions in NXT I've seen in a long time.
You say Mayo phase?
The Mayo phase. This is the Mayo period.
Yep. I thought I heard that. I heard that. I'm just like, let me question what he said before
This is best foods. This is basic Mayo. And it was just like, oh my God. So it's Joe. Then it's the Vanity Project that comes out there. And it's like, you know what? Let me tell you this right now. Jackson Drake, he has charisma. He can talk to a crowd. Can he perform into a larger crowd? I do not know. But even though with his silver tongue, it did not make me care about Joe Hendry. This is a bad period for NXT. And I think that this was just a the first step into a bad show. This show had nothing for me. And I think that it starts with having a bad champion. It just really does. It really does.
Yeah, I was really hoping it wouldn't be Joe Hendry. I feel like the ship has kind of sailed. The meme is kind of over. I just feel like he needs something else other than what he's currently doing, because I'm assuming next week we're gonna have him singing about
Ricky Saints attacking him.
Ricky Saints, yeah.
But the thing about it though, it's like you think. This is where I sound very negative in this situation. I don't want Ricky with the title either. Like, Joe Hendry and both Ricky, they are mid-card people. Like, mid-card. Not upper mid-card, look, they're just mid-card.
But did you watch NXT last week?
No.
Okay.
Maybe. Did I? Maybe. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I don't think I did.
The ladder match. When you look back at the ladder match, maybe I can find an image of it. When you look back at the ladder match, there was no one really, when you looked at them, even by like how much they've been on TV so far. There was no one there that looked like they stood out as like, you know what, that could be the NXT champion. Because in my eyes, no one there was like ready to be the NXT champion, with exception to the obvious of stature as Joe Hendry and Ricky Saints.
Are we ready for a Eric Wild take? Are we ready for one? Because I haven't done one in a long time. Currently, in my opinion, NXT should become an all-women show, because that's the only thing I care about. Like, because until they can find another male star, F these guys, because the main roster has done it again. They have raped and pillaged and took anybody with star power. I'll put it this way. Javon probably should have stayed in NXT And I would have rather have seen Javon win the title and see what he could have did with that than Joe Hendry or Ricky Sanks. But instead, they were all taken to the main roster, and now we're left with that. But guess who they left behind? Fallon Henry and JCJ. They're still there, still doing their nonsense.
I would say they always find a way to rebuild, and let's just say give them maybe 6 months to establish new people, and I think we might be on a way to being okay.
I'm ready for another wild take. I think I know who's gonna be. I'm ready for it. It's time for the King. Lexus King is gonna try to. He's getting his faction. It's gonna be him and the Finley boys, and I believe in him.
Apparently. So when they said they need to find the final piece of the puzzle, apparently it's supposed to be Uriah Connor's brother.
Yeah, David Finley
from New Japan.
But the greatest thing about that, though, is like if they are for some reason they can't get him, and I don't know much about David Finley at all, to be totally honest. I didn't watch much New Japan. But Clark Counters is not available, so you got to go get his other brother. But the thing about it, they did not write themselves into a hole, because at the same time, there's another generational talent if they're going with that lineage, because I think their nickname, because the trademark is Birthright. You still have Charlie Dempsey on the roster, so he can easily be put into there.
They're talking to him as well.
Yeah, so
hanging around the Ren QCC.
But I think that the thing about it is that like Lexus has a charisma about him, and he's came a lot farther than when he was in AEW, and this could be his time to shine. Because you can't do nothing with Tony D.
It was getting ropey for the last couple of months though, because he kind of doing nothing.
Yeah, you can't do nothing with Tony D at the moment. Keanu is too gimmicky, because I just see like the witch version of Oba right now. Like,
I would say more the hood version of Oba.
And
I feel he's the Sugar Man, but like a little bit.
Shaquan pissed me off this week. I ain't seen Shaquan in a while, but I was like, he didn't shut up. He's
basically the Sugar Man with a little bit like a little bit more anger.
yeah, but the Sugar Man didn't strike the Sugar Man when he was talking. I was like, what the fuck you do? What you talking about?
All of them, when Darkseid were talking. We're just gonna go off the cuff because this show was not good. The Sugar, we're not going in any order, but the Sugar, when all of Darkseid were talking, I didn't give a fuck what all four of them were saying.
No, I mean, you know what? Linux might be something, but the problem with Linux was that he's the only one that said anything with conviction, but it came after everybody else talked, and Sugar's wasn't talking anything. The guy with the braids, I just remember that you lost to your faction member in LFG in the first round when you were trying to get drafted. When they had to replace the guy. It's just one of those weird things. It's like, I think that Darkseid has lost a lot of momentum. A lot. To the point where I thought that the Grand Theft Auto guys, that they actually look good this week. When they used the Darkseid, I know, Manny, but you have to give him credit. When he cut his promo in Spanish, he sounded more legit than the other guy. I don't know his name. Lucian, I think he's Lucian.
The only people I cared about when they came out was Hank and Tank. And that's a problem.
Manny, that's you holding on to the old WWE right there, to the gimmick tag team. I don't know. It was better than what it could have been, but I just don't know. Manny, let me ask you this question. Blake Moreau has left, and she was Lacey, whatever she was in AEW. Have you seen improvement in her in the match with her and Jada Parker?
Well, I feel there's a lot of internet chatter about this woman that she peaked in AEW, and that people are only just realizing that it was Tony Storm that did most of the work. No shit, people.
Yeah, they're so Captain Obvious.
She's getting better. I think what she lacked in AEW, they're trying to work on in NXT. Is she ever going to be at the top of the WWE main card? I don't think so. I think you've got a very wish version of Chelsea Green out there.
I understood like why you couldn't do this for Jade, but I wish Jade was put into the role that Blake Moreau was, where she was down on NXT getting better, getting reps and stuff like that, instead of being on the main roster because of her looks and stuff like that. I think that Blake eventually can be something like, you know, everybody hates the pretty girls. It's a great storyline. Like, pretty girls are annoying, you know, so, and then Jada's hood. And it's just one of those things where it's just time that you want to see them go to the next thing. Hands down, like I said, I love every segment with the women on the show because I thought it had some realness to it. I thought the Tatum Paxley, that NXT spotlight, that was one of the dopest things that I've ever seen. Yeah, and I was like, shit, I need to know how to do that myself. Like, when they had the doll fight, like, it was one of those things. I think when she said something to the point, like, I was playing with dolls because I was trying to come over the fact that I was all alone, and I was in her own I was like, wow, this is giving more depth to a character to make even Tatum more likable. And I was like, that's what I appreciated in this situation. And I was like, wow, that was a very good package.
Late though, or is it the right time for this? Because she the last couple weeks she has been running around with a fucking chainsaw.
You know, sometimes I think the thing about it, when you really think about in NXT, is that it's like we throw shit at the wall and we see what sticks. And I don't think people remember what happens with Tatum, but I know that made an impact with me, that package. Hopefully they can follow up with it, but I just don't know. Speed tournament match, are we skipping that? Who is Eli Knight? Who is this black man?
I think he's the replacement for Javon Evans.
Okay.
He's very good, but like also like very green at the same time. I think he's got a lot growing to do on the NXT roster, which I think is going to be good for him. And then Jasper Troy takes out both Eli Knight and Elio Lafleur, the new French luchador.
Let me point out that Wes is right. Deion Lennox is the child of Jason Jordan and Chad Gable. I can see it.
Lola and Kalani were fighting again for no reason, and then so Lola was in the back, and then Robert Stone was like, "You're not cleared." Basically, the match is gonna be postponed. Keanu Carver decides to do his bullshit, having a referee pull Robert Stone from the thing, distracting everyone, allowing Kalani Jordan to get a sneak attack in.
Well, I love the fact that Rob Stone was only made the interim GM. Like, you got to earn your job. And his whole way was to make chaos. You know, it's funny. When I was watching this show, I didn't like it. Talking about the show, I feel like there was a lot of groundwork that took place to make, like, it's not a great show, but it's a lot of seeds that were being placed for future episodes, which maybe sometimes you need to do. You need to have bad episodes in order to have great episodes in WWE. I don't know.
Well, like you said, where you said you wish Jade had the run that Blake's having. I think Jade would have benefited a lot more from having a run like Lash and Jada Parker. Like, they both don't end up with tag team like gold at this any point, but like you can establish them as a character and a lot more than what they've done in WWE on the main roster, where it's like, look at her, look at her. That's all you do.
I might be too high on Lash, but I was high on her in NXT, but I could see her in the main event next year for some title. Like, I don't
know if in the main event next year. But I can see her in the main event scene in maybe next 2, 3.
Well, I can see her taking the IC title or the US title from somebody.
Yeah, but those are titles that don't mean anything.
True. Joe Hendry versus Drake. I mean, I guess he has to get a win.
It's fine. It was fine.
But my issue that I had was that I know the Vanity Project had a tag team match later on. They didn't need to be at ringside in tights. I forgot that they had a match. I was like, why are these two idiots down there in their tights? And then if you're going to attack somebody, you can't throw them into the stairs because the referee can hear that shit. Should have been a disqualification.
I'm pretty sure he saw that shit. He should have disqualified them instantly. I don't like both of them, Eric.
No, I don't. Manny,
I can't stand the look of either of them.
But I think that's the whole thing about them. Is that you're not supposed to like them. Like, literally, when you think about, you know how you have a fondness for Hank and Tank? Hank and Tank feuding with the Vanity Project just makes so much sense. You got the pretty boys against blue collar.
Eric, I didn't like them out the gate. They grew on me.
I don't like the little one. I feel like you can't be vanity. You can't be vain and be that short. You can't like
the brown-haired one. The
little
one.
short one.
Yeah, I don't like him
because like he got all this but you short. Ain't the girls don't like short men? They don't.
He's short and he don't even have abs.
No, no. Like they need to find somebody else. You know, like if he was I mean, I know this wouldn't happen, but like maybe if he was paired with Deion Lennox, it would make much more sense. Make much more sense than the little dude, but whatever. So I guess every frat boy has his issues.
Joe Henry wins this, and then Hank and Tank take on the other two from
the Vanity Project.
Vanity Project. I wanted to call them Swipe Right because Jackson Drake helps Swipe Right get the win here, and then they get forced into that was already a triple threat tag match so it's a fatal 4-way now. But then the highlight of the night, this is the only good thing about this show, was the hatred Zarya was showing to Sol Roca.
Can we not
tagging herself in numerous times?
Can we not go there? Because I want to talk about this in detail because I think this was probably the only thing that kept me to the show. But what's going on with Shiloh and his Jason mask? What is this? I haven't seen NXT in a while. I'm confused. I don't know what that was.
Shiloh. That's the only way you can describe it. Shiloh. Okay. He's a bit weird.
Okay. And now he's going to be fighting Ethan Page next week. He's
going to win that title next week, and it's going to be a goddamn shame.
So Rob Stone, man, he made this whole thing. He made the main event watchable. And then I also appreciate the storytelling that they did, where you had one team where Ren Sinclair and her partner Kendall Gray, where they're like, we just want to win the match together. We don't care who gets the pin. We just want to win the match. And then you had the dissension of Sol Roca and Zarya. And Manny, I can tell you this right now. I'm on Team Zarya in this situation. Soda had opportunity after opportunity.
No, Eric. This is what I've been saying. This is what I'm saying. This is it. I've been saying it for weeks. Every time Sol Roca hangs out with Zarya, Sol Roca gets a strike on the show. Because she should know better. She should know better. Zarya's been holding her back. Zarya, if you were good, you would have had opportunities. Don't be like, oh, I need to get these opportunities. If you were ounce good, if you were as good as Sol Roca's left toe, you would have got opportunities. So don't be like, oh, I'm bitter because this. No, you ain't good enough. That's why you didn't get the call to go to the Royal Rumble. Have you muted yourself? Yeah, you're talking with no sound. There you go.
Can you hear? My mic came unplugged, so I probably need to buy a new cable. Let me tell me you did not enjoy every time that she broke up the pin. Every time she broke up the pin.
Broke up the pin, angrily tagged herself in.
Yeah. And then like the fluke way that Sol Roca won the match, like I just look at it this way. If Sol Roca really cared about her friendship with Zarya, she would have made sure Zarya stayed in the match. Clearly, Sol Roca don't care about her friendship with Zarya, and I think that we could be on the cusp of a heel turn in this situation.
For who?
For Sol Roca.
I don't want her to turn heel. She's like the Rey Mysterio of cool things.
True, but Manny, the question is though, JCJ and her team came out there, you know, Fallon Henry in them shorts, and JCJ, people who ain't gonna never be called up. Is Sol Roca the one to take the title off of JCJ?
Someone has to take it off her. I feel I get that she was rewarded for longevity and being there and being there and going and improving and stuff like that. But what has JCJ really done with that title?
Manny.
Who's she beating? Who's she beating?
Manny, she's holding on to that title one more time. You know why? Thick ass Zarya is not gonna let Sol Roca win that belt. She ain't.
But this is I thought going into WrestleMania when they do Stand and Deliver, it should be Sol Ruka versus Zarya doing not in the title picture. It should be the end of their friendship. They're having a blow off match, and then it should be
Maddie,
someone else going off against JCJ.
let me tell you this right now. It should be. It should be Zarya versus Sol Ruka. Loser leaves NXT. Sol Ruka loses. She goes to the main roster, and then you have JCJ probably fighting Jada Parker. I think Jada Parker should be given the title shot in this situation.
Jada Parker needs to be champion because she's the one that has had constant improvement outside of Lash. Outside of Lash, I think those two, when they were both in NXT, have improved a lot. But then I also see the improvement of Kendall Gray, who's just come up in the scene as just like this is probably the female Kurt Angle they were all been looking for.
Yeah.
And let's not forget about Callie Armstrong, who's doing the damn thing, but is not getting any love. Armstrong. She ain't getting any love.
Is Callie? Is she nursing an injury that won't heal, just like Bianca? I don't understand why Callie doesn't get what happened. Maybe she's hurt.
No, she's too good. She should be up there with Kendall Gray getting all this praise because they're the ones that I go. If you get rid of Fallon and you get rid of JC, NXT roster is going to be just fine with the likes of Kendall Gray and Callie Armstrong, who is improving every day.
But the thing about it, Manny, and I said this before when I said that I would take a W NXT. I think the women are the only thing that are carrying this show. Like from random Kalani still having his beat down on site with Lola, from Jada and Blake Monroe to Zaruka, it's all this stuff is going on for, whatever JCJ's faction is. They're the only thing that's entertaining. It's the men they're lacking right now. They're lacking.
And I think it's always been like that for the last couple of years. It's always kind of been like that. It wasn't until like Oba came on the scene for me and Javon. Really, those are the two stick out. I don't necessarily care about Ricky Saints. No. Trick has been there Trick was there for a while, so like he was kind of just there for me.
Trick was in the in my opinion, he's in the Jada Parker state where he's just there, and you don't need to be there anymore. Like it's like like right now, there's no room on the main roster for Jada, but I think that she would do just fine. I do think that whatever was going on, possibly between her and Jey Uso, may have halted her career a little bit. Because she should be where she's, she should be higher than where she's at right now. Like, quite frankly, she shouldn't be feuding with Blake Monroe at this point, just because Blake Monroe. I think
Blake needs someone with rep to get a decent rep.
She does, but it's one of those things that there's other people that you can probably pair her with that could. No, it's really not. Now that I think about it, because I think Jada might be the best wrestler on the roster and the women's roster right now.
I get the feeling that Blake Monroe should have been the NXT Women's Champion. I think we should have found a way to take it off JC, and then you could have had the likes of Lola. You could have had the likes of Jada Parker going after Blake.
Because I think you're right. Because I think that when you think about it on the surface, Blake is a hateable character. She's very hateable. Entitled, like that. Shit, you guys are going to use that against me. That's going to be a mistake.
But JC hasn't done anything. And that's the thing that sticks out to me. JC hasn't really done anything.
Because JC's not a leader. She's a henchman. Nothing against her. Like her and Fallon are both henchmen. And then you put the other person, it's like two henchmen and a jobber. That's what you have right there. There is no start. Now, let's say we reworked it and we put Blake Monroe with that group. Blake can be a star with those two support or three support characters because she has that aura about her. Like JC does not have that aura. Like JC is someone that you cheer for because you know what? You're doing better than what you should do. You know what? And that's mean to say that, but you know exactly what I mean.
That's mean because it's like, yeah, you're exceeding expectations, but it's right. Like that. I mean, like the fact that they've gone back and put the title on her twice.
Yeah.
says more like, what are you actually doing in your roster?
It's one of those things. I understand it's a safe thing, but JCJ is not going to put my butt in the sink. I'm just not going to watch that match. It's not exciting enough for me, especially when you have so much talent on the roster. That's why I feel like Sol Roca is the no-brainer to take the title. At the end of the day, though, I don't think it's going to happen, is because I think Zarya is going to interfere.
So my whole thing going into this match back of last week was, I was like, Sol and Zarya are going to have a breakdown in this match, and then that would allow the unpredictable Ren Sinclair get the pin for this match and then face off against JCJ.
I thought about that too, because if there was anybody, because this is before hopping off the apron, if Zarya would have jumped off the apron, I would have enjoyed that so much better than.
But Zarya was not in a position where she could have jumped off the apron. She was the title, so she was not in a position. But like, you could have seen them blow up and argue about getting a pin. And I would have just allowed them to get pinned.
I hated myself that I enjoyed that stipulation because I thought it made the match more entertaining. I did. Levi's in the chat. You know, Levi, a long time I haven't heard from you. He said, wasn't Seth Rollins a henchman in the Shield? He's still a henchman. He's useless. I like me some Seth.
I wouldn't say he's useless, but I mean, yeah, you're right. He's just a henchman.
He's a great worker. He's a great goon. But I can't have him carry my title. He ain't gonna do it. He just ain't gonna do it. Would I love to see him fight Ospreay? I think it would be a hell of a match. I think it'd be good. Do I need him to be a champion? No. Becky can't wrestle to save her life, but she can talk my ass into the seat, make me believe she gonna do something good. Becky.
So I haven't actually watched this latest video that what's his name? Why is his name skip my Stevie Richards has done? The title is Becky Lynch overrated?
No. We all know she can't wrestle. We all know that. But that heifer can talk you into a match because you be like, either A, you're going to pay to see her get her ass kicked. Like, man, let's go back to a couple of weeks ago. Why would you ever want to see Becky Lynch versus Maxine? No one wants to see that. But we all watched it. We all watched it because A, we watched it for the clusterfuck, or maybe to see Becky get hers. But it didn't happen. I mean, the whole feud with Becky and Lyra. Lyra's a better wrestler, but Becky had all the personality to carry that. It's one of those things that Becky, when you go back to the Four Horsewomen, she was the performer with the least wrestling ability, but she had the biggest personality. Becky has the personality that Mercedes wished that she has. Bayley wished that she has that personality. Charlotte is just a bitch, but she can wrestle, and that's what makes it even better for her. Come on, Manny, you know.
What's this say? Eric, you and I were cheering in the same stadium when Seth Rollins won the title. Yes. I think Jane was booked poorly.
The thing about
JC Jane. Yeah, I don't think that she was booked poorly. I don't think there's anyone that, like, realistically, you put her up against, you go, do you know what? JC should win that, or JC's going to have a banger. Because JC is, we may say Cody's a 3-star general. JC is barely a 2.
Yeah. So the thing about me, yes, I cheer Seth Rollins because I can admit that I am a fan of Seth Rollins. I think that he's a great wrestler. I think that he's a very good in-ring technician. However, I don't think that he has a soul. I don't think that when his title reigns are soulless. And I think that's the thing. You don't have anything to connect with. And it's like, yeah, he'll give you a good match. But like Cody's a 3-star general, but like his story, like, you know, everybody was about that. Roman's just a badass. You know, it's a damn shame that Braun Breaker got a hernia because he flipped the damn table. What the hell? How does that happen? Like it's one of those things where I think charisma is more important than in-ring ability. Because I think that you can talk your way into, if you can just basically get through a match. Like, I mean, like, WWE is not the place where you're going to get Ciampa versus Fletcher. Those type of matches don't happen all the time. But when they do, you'd be like, oh, wow, that's a really good match.
Yeah, you're more surprised when it happens in WWE. You're like, whoa.
It's like, this one of those things that I'm more entertained with Becky being on camera than her having a match. But then when she has a match, you're like, wow, that exceeded my expectation. That doesn't mean it's a great match. It means that my expectation was that she was going to give me a 1 or 2 star performance, and she gave me 3 stars. So I think I'm out of hot takes. I think I've prolonged this show long enough, and I have to start getting ready because Shantae has an appointment. So, Manny, you have any more questions that?
No, I think we've covered everything and then some today. So, me and Eric will be back with Marcus on Sunday.
On Sunday, I believe, where we'll talk about SmackDown.
Regular time. And we'll probably have to fit in time for Marcus's takes of the rest of the week of wrestling.
Wow, wait a minute. This is weird. It's an alternate universe. This is normally what I do. We have the Eric recap. I'm caught up. It's weird being caught up.
But yeah, so
hold on, Manny, before we go. Levi, I don't know if you were show. So I get that we want to free Brody King, but where would he go? Where would he go? You know what? In the comments.
No, he means put him on the show. That's what basically I think he means. I don't think he means release Brody King.
You know, in the comments, let us know, what would you do about the Brody King situation? Do you embrace it or do you run away from it? Like, do you try to kiss the ring of the angry man or do you say fuck the man? It's very interesting. Please let us know in the comments. Like, hit that ring notification, do all that stuff. We probably should have did that at the very beginning of the show. And just in case if you can't watch us live, remember, the audio version of this show is available in your podcatcher of choice, whether it's Spotify, Amazon, or Apple. You can still get the audio version of this show.
I did not know we were on Spotify.
We're on Spotify, sir.
I don't use Spotify.
I don't use Spotify either, but it's an option. You know, it's a... That's
what it said. I got PGA 2K25 for Switch 2. Pretty good with longer loading time.
I'm not buying a Switch 2. I'm just not doing it. I got so many games to play on the Switch 1. And
I recently paid for Grid Racing Legends. And I played this on Xbox Game Pass. I did not want to pay for the DLC. However, then I did pay for it on Switch 2. I'm an idiot.
I just want to point out that if our household has been, it's a game that we've been stuck on for a long time. And it's on my phone, it's on my computer, it's on my iPad. But Latro, this game right here, has made me and Shantae waste so much time in life playing this game, trying to complete runs. It's a very fun game. So the premise of the game is it's a rogue, like kind of like Hades, where you get a run. And you have to try to make cards with poker hands and stuff to beat the blinds and stuff like that. It's a very fun game. I've been addicted to it for 2 weeks. Yeah, it's really something else.
Over Christmas, I was addicted to Dispatch. But recently, I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Remake on PS5.
So I didn't understand what they were doing with that game. And I was an asshole. I spoiled an important scene from one of my co-workers who was playing the game because I thought she had already played the game when she watched her brother play when she was younger. Clearly she didn't, so I felt bad about that. I'm still sorry about that. But I didn't know they was releasing it in parts. Yeah,
I think they've released the second part. And then I just noticed that it was on PlayStation Plus. I was like,
so how much does it cost?
It's free on PSN.
Oh, because you have the Plus, and the Plus is like $15 a month. Shit.
Yeah,
I might buy it just to play it.
It's fun, but like you have to. It's one of those things where you ain't if you ain't got the time to play, you're never gonna finish it.
My friend's biggest complaint is about Cloud. She was like, why is he always agreeing to do shit that he don't need to do? This does not involve him. Why is he agreeing to this?
There's that, and then the fact that he's got 2 women lusting over him. Obviously, one of them dies, but he's got multiple women lusting over him.
Oh, so you know, cool, because that was the spoiler that she stopped in the middle of the street as we was on. She was like, why did you tell me? And I'm like, damn, I felt so bad. I
don't know the story.
Yeah, but Do you notice the differences or anything like that?
No, I've never ever played a Final Fantasy game.
So
It's the first time I've played.
I'm
it.
assuming you're not doing it the turn-based way. You're doing it the live action way.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's the way she does it too, because she doesn't like turn-based. I beat the game turn-based style.
I don't mind it, but what, the remake?
Yeah. No, the original.
Oh no! I've never played the original. Yeah, Final Fantasy games never really appealed to me till like this one. I was like, all right, let me play it.
Oh, I do like me some Final Fantasy games. I like me some turn-based games. But anyway, we can, maybe one day if Manny lifts his ban of not being on the shoot because he refused that he's there, we could talk about video games.
I was never invited. Let's get this straight. I have never been invited for the shoot. Everyone and their mama has been invited to the shoot, and I am never invited to it, so I am never appearing on it.
You see? And when you have someone says that they're never appearing on the shoot, then why would I invite the man to the shoot? We can't talk out the both sides of our mouths. But anyway, we'll see you guys on Sunday. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And I will say, Manny, for the first time, you and I have done the show, and I think it was 85% wrestling talk.
Minimal tangents.
Yes.
Minimal tangents.
I mean, I'm sorry for who tuned in to hear about it, having extra trousers when you shit yourself. Can't get that out of my. And shout out to the biggest lurker of them all, Grand Finale. Appreciate you popping up. We knew you would.
I expect him to comment on this because I expect him to be doing a hate watch of this later.
Yes.
I expect a comment stating that you hate both of us.
Like I told you, Manny, Marcus Azaria, he done broke up this pin on multiple occasions. He don't want us to win. Hey, shout out to Rob Jordan. Thank you for lurking.
Hey.
Let me just point out, you know how many times he done broke up our count? Like, because remember, he came in trying to correct us too. He came in late.
He said that. He said this.
Yeah. Hater. I just like to think that he's at work and he found a quarter to bring out his phone. Damn it, Betty. Think about it. Because those things came in right at the 15-minute point. So he let us start the show a little bit. And then he was just walking around. He said, you know what? Let me see what they doing. You know what? Fuck them. Let me comment on this. He just had to let them know. Mark, we still love you. We do. We'll see you on Sunday.
He wouldn't have been able to do that if in the olden days, like 2 weeks ago with his old phone.
Dude, my phone
his battery would have died.
My phone is acting up. Very upset by this.
And well, it's time to get the 17 Pro.
Guess what it's doing? The same thing Marcus' phone was doing. The bottom port is trying to mess up.
I never keep phones long enough for things like that to happen.
Well, Manny, it was a point that I stopped upgrading that 13. I was like, I don't need nothing else. Because, main reason, this is a 13 Pro, 512 gigabytes. I am going to say the 13 Pro Max was probably my best iteration of the iPhone. I love me some gigabytes. But the craziest thing about this is that I was thinking about getting a better camera. So that's why the upgrade doesn't help, because I don't know who follows my photography page on here, Eric Monte Photo on Instagram, but I just posted a series of 5 photos that I really liked. And those were all taken with my iPhone. So, yeah. But that being said, we hope you guys enjoyed this show. Oh, that's not my job to do. I'm a guest.
I mean, you can follow my dog now, who's on Instagram.
And you know what? Until Manny's on the shoot, I will not follow Rika. I will draw my line in the sand. There it is.
It takes a lot more work for me to be on the shoot than it does for you to follow a dog.
True. It does, but whatever. Anyway, we'll see you guys later.
We like the video, subscribe. We're back on Sunday. Peace.
Later.